Over the past year, at least a handful of times now, I've encountered this notion that really good guitar players make bad guitar teachers. I wanted to address it because it's strange that it's recently started to come up more and more, and it's invariably every time I've encountered it, it's actually been a guitar teacher who is not particularly a great guitar player. They're okay, but they're not, not phenomenal. And the fact that it's been exclusively that group of people every time I've encountered it kind of tells me that it's compensating. Um, not trying to be mean, but I do understand that this is something, a human behavior, and when you're intimidated and when you look at the sheer volume of really fantastic guitar players offering lessons, as they pretty much always do on some level for part of their income, it's easy to get intimidated, especially if I don't know, I can't be sure, but some well-placed, really nasty YouTube comments can probably get under somebody's skin as well. But wherever this really originates from, on some level, it's coming from an insecurity, and they're trying to compensate for a lack of playing skill, at least being at a certain level, or they maybe think they expect other people to see them there, and trying to basically dismiss an entire group of people who actually can outplay them, with this false notion that somehow they're inherently going to be a worse guitar teacher. So I wanted to just address this because it's really weird that it keeps coming up, and I've encountered it like 3-4 times now in the last year. It's very specific, and so it seems like it's, I don't know, gaining momentum, but this couldn't be more nonsensical. And I just wanted to address it because there's more to this. There's just like anything that starts getting circulated around or said simply, it's missing some vital context. So I'm going to provide some context and some food for thought for when you possibly encounter this nonsensical claim. Okay, so I'm going to modify it, first of all, to make this claim more true. Rather than really good guitar players are generally bad guitar teachers, I'm going to just say more truthfully that guitar players are generally not very good guitar teachers. Okay, inherently, being able to play an instrument has no bearing whatsoever on your ability to communicate well in an easy to understand and actionable way. Okay, they're two separate skills. Your communication skills are just independent of your musical skills. Now, of course, if you know your skills, your instrument well, and you know music well, then you can also communicate that topic, but still you can be a bad communicator no matter how good your theory and fretboard and playing, might be, and still, drop the ball when it comes to teaching, because, we can also go the other way. Let's take the instrument out of the picture entirely. As a person, are there teachers who don't play a musical instrument who are fantastic teachers? Yes, of course there are. So there's more evidence that these are just two completely unrelated skills. Now they're interrelated once you start teaching this skill using this skill. But outside of that, you're just as likely to find a mediocre or so-so guitar player teaching not so great lessons as you are to find a phenomenal guitar player teaching not so great lessons. You can get run-of-the-mill lessons from anybody, probably. So it's the exceptional teachers you got to watch for. You got to look for those. That has to be in place either way. All right, so let's look at what else comes with this, though. Okay, so hopefully it's clear that we're talking about just two completely different skills, which, by the way, the good news is you can just develop either one or both, or neither, if you have enough energy and devotion and consistent action being put into the process of actually developing them, your musical skills or your teaching skills. Once it occurs to you, hey, I can actually be a better teacher than I am right now. I can get better results for my students. I can have people making breakthroughs in almost every session, and they're going to leave happy and go tell their friends. Once you realize how much is even in it for you, you can go learn how to be a better teacher. There are learning models. There are many of them. In fact, outside of teaching music, the field of training, teaching, coaching, mentoring, all of these separate things, whether they be on the job or like life coaching type things, there's so many different areas outside of music where all training has pretty much evolved significantly. So there's just a wealth of resources that you can learn from to actually actively become a better teacher. So you can learn how to do that. And if your heart's in the right place, even without great skills, you can become a very good teacher. You won't be able to teach every skill level, but you can get good results for a huge number of students because, most guitar players don't get past the beginner stage anyway. So, if your goal is to become just, okay, you just want to learn a few skills and be able to just mess around on the guitar, you don't need a virtuoso to teach you that. That's fine. Somebody with their heart in the right place, who's a good teacher and just an okay player, can teach you how to do that, and you'll be able to do what you want to do. If your goal is to become a really, really phenomenal guitar player, however, you're going to need a really, really good guitar player to teach you how to do that, because they're the one that actually knows whether it works or not. They know what does work and what doesn't. They know what they spent their time on that paid off and what didn't. Okay, so you need one of them who is also a good teacher. Okay, so the false equivalency is that the better your guitar playing, the worse your teaching. They're apples and oranges. You can be a good teacher and be either one, or you can be a crappy teacher and be either one, because they're independent of each other. How much effort, how much passion you have, for both of those areas is going to determine how good you are at both. But here's the thing. How, again, if you want to be a phenomenal guitar player, how is somebody who has not yet reached that level supposed to teach you how to reach that level? If they knew how to do that, shouldn't they also already be a phenomenal guitar player? Shouldn't that reflect in their playing? The ability to pass on an ability means you have to have it already. So to me, that's the biggest outrageous nonsense of the whole thing, is somebody who's reached an incredibly high skill level as a player at least does know what did and didn't work. So it's sort of ludicrous for somebody who hasn't even gotten there yet to make that claim. And again, that's why to me, that just looks like compensating, because it's to have to reach for something that's not even, honest, to try to make up for an apparent lack. That now it's becoming a disservice to everyone. As this starts to get circulated around as if it's gospel, like everything in the guitar community, and the half truths and the folk wisdom that many people think is what you're supposed to do and isn't. This is just one more thing, one more load of BS being thrown on the pile. So I wanted to address that and sort of clear some things up, add some context here, because really, you should always look for somebody who is good at what they do, as good as you can possibly get, who is also a good teacher. All right, and don't buy into this false narrative, this false equivalency that good guitar players are automatically bad. Most guitar players are automatically bad teachers. Make no mistake about it. For as long as people keep just saying, here's the book I teach everybody out of, the exact same way, at the exact same pace, regardless of whether it's your pace or not, see you next week, and then pay no attention to the actual goals, and no special attention to individual persons' weaknesses and strengths in terms of learning style, you're always going to have not very good lessons. And as long as there are teachers who are not willing to adapt and improve themselves as teachers, you're always going to have that. Doesn't mean you have to be the one spending your money on them, but don't buy into the nonsense. It has nothing to do with whether you're a good player or not. It has to do with whether your heart's in the right place, and whether you actually care about getting results and have enough forethought as a business person to make sure that you actually get your student results as quickly and effectively as possible, so that they leave happy, tell their friends come in, they get lessons from you, they leave happy, and the process continues. You get word of mouth, and you have plenty of money to go around, rather than coming from a place of insecurity. I got some nasty comments about my sloppy playing on YouTube. I'm going to need to put that in my next commercial. That's that. You're not fooling anybody except for people that you really, that are trusting you, and so it's not being a very good person, to be honest. But if you feel insecure about your playing and you're a teacher, here's a secret: get lessons yourself. There's always room to improve. The better and better you get as a player, the more you realize there's way more room to keep getting better and better and better. And that's why people who play like they're like from another planet keep just getting better, because there's always more room to continue to improve. So you can improve yourself even if you're already teaching. So that's a tip for you. If I'd rather you do that. I'd rather teach another teacher myself than have to deal with this nonsense cropping up, out of someone else's insecurity. That's not how you deal with it. You improve yourself. You don't lie. So anyway, that's that. I just wanted to add this piece of perspective to the ongoing conversation, and hope it doesn't keep being ongoing, because It's pretty obvious nonsense to me, but I can see how it almost seems logical on the surface. And as many other bits of half-truths and folk wisdom get circulated without question, this would probably get the same treatment. So let's hope to stop that right where it is. Anyway, I'm Jason at Shred Mentor Rock Guitar Academy. You can find me at shredmentor.com. We can do a free introductory consultation, so if you want, you can see what my teaching style is like, and we'll talk about your goals. If you want a little bit of a taste of what my teaching is like, you can go to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/shredmentor and look for the challenge of the day, or just look up, Google Shred Mentor challenge of the day, and you'll find 201 different videos that are a pretty good example of, well, it's me teaching stuff. I would teach you something more personal. You might even get something like it, but it depends on what you actually want to become as a player. And so anyway, love to teach you if we're a good match. And if not, I'll tell you at least what I would look for. I don't network, and I don't have anybody to refer you to, but I do know what I would suggest for you if I don't have the answer, because I don't want to waste your time or mine. So anyway, honesty, it's great for teachers. Anyway, rock on, my friend. I'll see you later.